Looking at our NRL picks and tips for the round, we'll be doing these every week between Rich, my dad, my tips and your tips. First game of the week, another massive game and a tough one to tip. This Thursday, Melbourne versus the Roosters in Melbourne at Amy Park. Who are you tipping?
I'm tipping the Melbourne Storm. I think losing to Desco for that 11-day rule is going to hurt. Yes, they get Manu back, but Melbourne get Jarome Hughes back, and they just looked so good last week. And given the games in Melbourne, I think you're stupid not to tip Melbourne.
I think with Tedesco out, he's got to take the mandatory 11 days off. And Melbourne having all their players back, I'm going to take Melbourne as well. In Melbourne, I don't see him losing this game.
And Dad's taking Melbourne as well, so it's great minds think alike.
Are you surprised to see Manu at fullback and not Suaalii?
I think they'll swap in the game. I would probably go with Manu as the more senior player. He played fullback for New Zealand in the World Cup. You got to give it to the more senior player. It's just like a nod of respect.
I don't think Suaalii is their best option for fullback too. When he sums up things, he looked great on the back end of that game last week.
He's only 19.
Week, filling in for Teddy. But I just feel like he doesn't sum up coming out the back that well. You know, whether to go long, short. Sometimes he opts to hold the ball. Manu's been there. He's done that. He did it for New Zealand. I think it's the right option. But you're right. We could see them switching. Friday night, we've got the Good Friday game, the Bulldogs versus the Rabbitohs.
As much as it pains me to say, as a Bulldogs fan, they've got too many players out. Rabbitohs are going to win this game convincingly, 13+. Latrell to score a try, have a great game.
Tavita Totola back for Souths as well, who's a
big in from a knee injury too. I thought he was going to be a bit more longer on the sideline.
Taylor Mariner's not playing for the Bulldogs.
They've got I think 11 of their regular first graders out. These are front rowers. They're asking for a special exemption from the NRL to get some Jersey flag players to come up. So I'm going to say there's no chance the Bulldogs are winning this week, as much as it pains me to say it. Could they pull off a surprise upset like they did last week in a golden point, shown from Matt Burton? I don't think it's going to be the case. Latrell's going to be in for a big one. I'm taking the Rabbitohs. Richard has taken the Rabbitohs as well. So it's going to be a big game. The second game on Friday is the Cowboys versus the Dolphins.
You've got some big ins for the Cowboys. So you've got Ruben Cotter back, Scott Drinkwater back.
Yeah.
So
and Dolphins are struggling. They've got both their Milford and O'Sullivan out, so they're down to their third string halfback.
Nicarima's back for him though.
Yeah, I think he's probably still suffering from that head knock from Gilbert.
Big knock.
I'll take the Cowboys. Drinkwater transforms that side, and I think they'll be pretty filthy after last week losing to the Bulldogs.
We're all taking the Cowboys here with some big ins. We've got Panthers versus the Manly Seagulls.
I think this is probably game of the week. Manly coming off that draw with Schuster back will try and maybe pony up and try and cause an upset, but Penrith will look too good here. I think what's concerning is Martin and Garner are still out, but talent across the park.
Fisher Harris is out as well for the week.
Fisher Harris,
that's a big loss.
And Jason Saab's back with his...
Saab finally back, fellow Cedar.
Those Lebanese genetics getting you back early.
No, it's good to see Saab back.
7.5 months after an ACL
injury?
That's like unprecedented. But even with saying that, I think Penrith, you can't tip against
you've been seeing Saab putting the work. He's been going doing the Pilates. He's been sweating. He's been working with Roger Fabry as well, sprinting. He must be back in full flight if they're getting him in there after seven months off. But I'm going to take the Panthers as well. I think they're going to be too convincing. The Seagulls, I feel like they haven't been that convincing in their attack.
No.
And with Cooper Johns going in and out and Schuster being in and out, I think they'll be better than they were last week, but I think Penrith gets it done. Broncos or the Raiders?
Broncos. At home, Reece Walsh is firing. Take the Broncos.
Broncos, and I think we're taking Broncos all round as well.
Jared Croker's back for Canberra.
I think that makes me want to tip the Broncos more.
Yeah, Jared Croker, I don't know if he's a game-breaking centre. He's reliable.
Isn't he coming back from a shoulder injury?
Yeah, did you guys hear about his shoulder injury? What happened?
Shoulder injury last year.
Last year, yeah. He went to grab the TV remote and popped his shoulder out, and he was out for the year. Yeah, Channel 7 headline, Canberra Raiders legend Jared Croker's career under threat after TV remote injury.
Yeah, I think if you can't grab the remote without injuring yourself, you probably shouldn't be playing in the NRL. So Brisbane 13+ now.
How are you going to go up against a Herbie Farnworth
Katoni Staggs.
or Katoni Staggs if you can't reach and grab the remote without doing your shoulder?
Katoni Staggs is going to fend him, throw him off like a child and break both his shoulders.
Our Sunday game is the Titans versus the Dragons.
He's just so tough.
There's a few outs for the Titans, big outs. So AJ Brimson, Kieran Foran both got injured in their last game.
I'm just going to go the Titans. It's a 50-50 game. They're at home. I'll take the Titans.
Well, Dad's taking the Titans as well. I'm going to take the Dragons. I think they did enough last week. They're going to start to gel. Ben Hunt leading the way. With too many outs for the Gold Coast Titans. I'm going
This
Dragons.
This is the second game into the 6-week career on the line for Anthony Griffin. So he's got
They played
points
each
to
other
prove.
in round 1, and Dragons, I think, won by 20.
And we've
Round
got
two?
3 Sunday games. Next Sunday game, not the best game. Knights
one's
versus the
on Monday.
Warriors.
Knights versus the Warriors. I've taken Newcastle. Not as a very convincing pick. I just think Warriors, they've won too many games. It's just time for them to lose.
I don't know. I think they're going to ride the momentum.
The game's
Everyone's
in
jumping on
Newcastle.
board. The game is in Newcastle. Newcastle, a lot of troops out. They still seem to be getting it done. But I'm going to ride the Sean Johnson wave. I'm going to take the Warriors. Richard has taken the Knights.
Okay, we've tipped the same
A bit
so
of
far.
confidence in the Knights. I want to go a bit different. You're leading tips by 2. I'm going to take the Dragons. It's a bit different from you. And I'm taking the Warriors. Last game of the round, Tigers versus Eels. We just interviewed Tim Manor. Timmy Manor's riding off the Tigers. He thinks
He says he feels sorry for
He
them.
feels sorry for him. They're in an absolute form slump. He thinks the Eels does this comfortably, coming off a loss. So I'm going to take the Eels as well. Who are you taking?
I'm taking the Eels, but he did say that last year they just played down to their opposition. When you don't expect them, also when you do expect the Eels to win, they somehow bottle it. So be wary of that, but take the Eels here. Easter Monday, they'll win.
And the Sharks have a bye this week. They get the week off.